this question is asked on Reddit a lot. Like Europeans who have traveled to America, what are the first things you noticed? And like a lot of it is food. Ranch dressing does come up a lot. Another big one is like lack of bidets.
Haven't seen that at all.
Haven't seen that at all.
Seen that.
Okay. Well, could it be because their new diet that they have since they've come here has led them to not visiting the bathroom maybe as often as they would where they get more fiber?
Oh my gosh. Oh, we're going to talk World Cup today.
World Cup.
We're finally going to give in. Okay.
World Cup. And I am
I
loving the love for the United States.
Hey.
This is amazing.
Yes.
So the takeaways, right, or the key takeaways that I'm getting are the love for fast food chains like Chick-fil-A, Waffle House, Raising Cane's. The
Fried things so far.
marvel at the scale of our mega stores like Buc-ee's, Bass Pro Shops, Walmart.
Fried food, consumerism. Got it. Go ahead.
The quote unquote everyday luxuries of hotel ice machines, gigantic grocery aisles, and unlimited free drink refills with ice. Ice in the soda is a luxury, apparently.
Absolutely.
Not apparently. I recently did a trip to Italy and Greece, and ice.
No ice.
No ice. There is.
But
ice
the biggest thing that I'm seeing,
luxury.
and the one that has triggered my love for all of this, is the new love and obsession with ranch dressing.
People are like trying to sneak this. People are trying like there. It's like how much ranch dressing can they get through TSA?
3.4 ounces. In fact, this has even started. TSA on all their social media accounts is daily sending out tips to people on how to get ranch dressing back to their country.
Yeah.
And I am concerned that, so here's the difference. Like when we go that direction to Europe, like you can go and you can like eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want. There's less preservatives in all the food. It's fresher, local. Like you come back 2 weeks, you've lost a pound. These poor tourists, I think, by the time they return to Europe, I'm concerned none of their clothes will fit.
Are they calling it the FIFA 15? That's what they call it?
It's the FIFA.
Everything on that list was calorie delivery.
And apparently, Hidden Valley Ranch has started coming out with TSA-friendly containers for people to take.
Clever.
No way.
Clever.
That is clever. You know, there's a lot of clever things that come out of this. The other thing that I saw, because in real estate, like I'm a marketing guy, like marketing properties, how you position things is incredible. And did you see what Levi's did? Like the jeans clothing brand. So
for this,
they did not, they were not, here we are talking about, they did not sponsor the World Cup. So like Levi's Stadium, they had to like put like basically a white sheet over the logo. So then what they did...
Where the Seahawks won the Super Bowl.
So, yes. So then...
Just thought I'd get that in there.
Yes. Thank you. So then what they did is they had all of their stores, like their retail stores, cover up the logo with a white sheet. And then they had taglines like, nothing to see here. Or I think we all know what's happening. And I mean, it was... a brilliant marketing scheme. And here we are. You and I talking about it again. Marketing matters.
What I always see when this question is asked on Reddit a lot, like Europeans who have traveled to America, what are the first things you noticed? And like a lot of it is food. Ranch dressing does come up a lot. Another big one is like lack of bidets.
Haven't seen that at all.
Haven't seen that at all. Okay. Well, could it be because their new diet that they have since they've come here has led them to not visiting the bathroom maybe as often as they would where they get more fiber?
Oh my gosh.
That's true.
Drank Boston, a couple bars drank Boston Dry.
Okay.
Was in the news.
Well, that's because
hard
of
to
the
do.
Tartan Army now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I think we got some plugged up Brits and Swedes in America right now. That's what I'm thinking.
It is interesting what they notice.
Yeah.
And then also I've seen some great posts about the houses as well. And just the size, the sheer size of some of the amenities. I mean, we have more space here. And some things are McMansioned out for sure.
And I think the size of our yards is really blowing people's minds.
Oh yeah, that is not. I can't think of one place that we stayed, that even came close to that. Where you're just like, oh, this. There's no space. You need to go to a park.
Yeah. Well, I think what's been interesting about these is the lack of cynicism in them. I'm sure it's out there, but there are. I sort of jokingly just now made all of that a negative, but all of that is. I mean, actually, kind of a positive thing to see all of the wonder at stuff that we kind of, take for granted. Maybe not take for granted, just are used to. The idea of how often we have to use cars.
The German gentleman, is it Fred? Freddie. And he was listening to I think it was Ella Langley, and then I think they got him to a concert and got him boots and all the stuff. Just the hospitality that people have been showing. And anyway, yeah,
that's another thing people point out a lot.
Showcase for America,
for sure. That's another thing people point out a lot about when they come to visit America is how aggressively friendly Americans tend to be. Did you notice that on your trip? Is it not that way or?
Yeah, I think it is. You know what? I didn't notice. I didn't notice that because our experience on our last trip to Italy, it was Italy, Greece. Everybody was super friendly. Yeah. So I've been other places, maybe not so much, but at least that last trip was super, super friendly. But yeah, I think Americans have a fascination with people traveling here, and I think a lot of. I think a lot of Europe, what's cool about the World Cup is we're getting exposure of other cities, because I think a lot of people from, Europe and some of these other countries, you talk to somebody and you're like, oh, I'm from America, and they're like, oh yeah, I went on a trip there. I went to New York. I flew into New York. I saw New York and then I flew home. And you're like, oh my gosh, it was rare to find somebody that had been to Seattle, but still rare. So, I've been to Seattle, and then occasionally you'd find somebody like, oh, my uncle has a ranch in Montana. One person had been to a state other than,
Well, the undertaking that would have to be to actually get an interesting slice of American culture, it's a massive undertaking. In Europe, you can go to London and get to France, and you can get you can get around in a few days. Here
we haven't even done that.
Right.
We've gone to Europe and seen these things, but I haven't been to all 50 states.
Right. Well, my favorite pieces of American culture, a lot of it does center around food, but to get a good Louisiana I think Cajun food is probably America's best creation, maybe apart from democracy, which we didn't create. Our greatest export as we export democracy around the country. We should jambalaya, I think, is potentially America's greatest creation, outside of maybe barbecue.
Yeah. But there's some Texas spots that would
for sure.
Yeah, that you would absolutely.
And then the diversity within the barbecue community of Kansas City and
that's a whole
Memphis,
nother show.
Texas.
I'm not even going to mention what I like in Texas because people will go crazy and say, no, that's not the good place. Here's the better place. That would set off a whole crazy.
Yeah,
and I have seen a lot of posts about the glory of American fried chicken.
Oh gosh, yes. But is there a real estate angle to any of this, Lori? It is a real estate show.
Okay, yes.
We should talk a little bit about real estate.
There is a lot of talk
deep fried real estate news
about the luxury, the excitement over the luxury of having air conditioning.
That's another one. Yep.
Air conditioning.
Yes.
In your properties.
Yes, which a lot of times, in our climates, I think we've take for granted, all the time. Like I think people, certain climates, high desert climates, and different climates, the South, you're always like, you get used to it because you grow up with it. And a lot of these other countries, that is not a standard. It wasn't a standard in the older buildings. And all of these older buildings are remodeled. You know, some of them now, I've seen the advent of the mini split now traveling over in Europe. Some is, you know, with the smaller units and the flexibility, people have been able to do some remodels to some of these old buildings. It's amazing. We have such an advantage with new construction that we just get, which sometimes causes sprawl. I get it. But we have new construction where we just build out. We need the space. We fur out the wall a little bit more. There's no furring out a wall and putting a unit when you've got another brick building beside you. So, yeah, I think it is amazing. But we've even seen people, you know, talk about cars and AC on some of these videos where they're just like, this is amazing.
And they don't even apparently have ice.
We are fascinated with ice, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the
frozen water.
At the International Builder Show.
Frozen water.
The frozen water. Ice. Nice. Yeah, we have to be careful talking about travelers here from another country. Yes, frozen water.
H2O.
I mean, you saw at the last International Builder Show, one of our biggest videos was about making clear, round...
People like ice.
People like ice.
Frozen water.
So the biggest strain, I think, real estate-wise, and strain, I don't want to make this negative, but there's been a massive influx of people into our country, and they need places to stay.
They've got to stay somewhere?
They've got to stay somewhere while they're here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going into these large cities, all wanting to stay in one particular area, and it has created a need for additional places for them to stay. It has come out now that a lot of homes that were on the market for listings have been taken off the market and maybe listed as Airbnb or other.
Well, this is a common, I mean, we're looking at kind of event specific. I think what's so cool about this event is that, you know, it spans multiple weeks and a longer time period. So, I mean, we run a property management company as well. And I think this has always got to be part of the equation is sell versus rent, you know, and I think in the last 4 to 5 years, this equation has changed dramatically as interest rates have risen. So a lot of people, you know, are locked into a home where I say locked in, they could sell, but they're locked into an interest rate where maybe they were at 2.9% or 3%, and they're looking at a payment, you know, under $2,000 a month. Well, if they go to move or get a job assignment somewhere else, you know, it always was the case that you would sell that home and then rebuy in the market you were going to, or it was very common. Now a lot of people are looking and they're like, oh man, rates are high. Demand is not as great because rates are high. People are affording less. Maybe I should just rent this property out. So I think especially if you have an event like the World Cup coming, you can get 2 months of excessive rent, and you don't have a lot of overhead in that property. Why not rent that property out? But it does. You're now reducing the supply of homes on the market, though. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of times agents don't consider. You've got to consider in your business the alternative of what the rental side looks like. So like you've got to have an ability, and I will say AI and databases of rents are helping tremendously with this, but you've got to look at what the alternative amount is to put that money to work for you, and if rental income makes more sense, which it might. I do understand these people, though, are paying some absorbent prices for these houses. I mean, rentals that might have been $2,000 for the week or $2,500 for the week are going for $7,000, you know, a week. So people are having to be creative on these.
I'm also interested when these houses then are done being a short-term rental, are they going to go back on the market? What's that going to do to pricing? And how many people that have visited during the World Cup are going to decide that they want to purchase property here?
Now that is a longer term effect for the market, and I think that's a little bit unknown. But you're right, the sheer dollar volume of the influx. I think I read an article. Don't quote me on this. It's got to be somewhere. One of the cities when it was anticipating upwards of $2 billion of income. From economic impact from this happening. So, I don't know if it was Boston or Miami. Who was hosting the most? Boston, 6 games? I mean, there was a huge economic impact to this. And so already an international city, a lot of people, because of university, I think there's like something crazy like 200 universities in Massachusetts. So a lot of people already have exposure on an international scale for Boston for education. And then you get kind of this resurgence of people like coming there. And I will tell you, that is a beautiful freaking city to visit. It very well ran. I think they keep that city super clean. Like, people are going to come and be like, wow, if this is what it's like, maybe we should get a second home here. So you can't buy marketing exposure like that. So for the right buyers and the right agencies, I do think there will be a long-term effect on it.
Well, and the projections that you're talking about, I don't know if this is the same thing that you were looking at. So New York and New Jersey are anticipating $3.3 billion in total economic impact because they had an 8-match schedule, including finals. So they're anticipating over 1 million visitors. Dallas is forecasting $1.5 to $2 billion economic boost. And then the next, Philadelphia is projecting $770 million, and Los Angeles expects up to $594 million.
Yeah, that must have been the article I read. And we had one of our agents on our team was like, I didn't even know this. He got back, I saw him 2 days ago, and he got back, and I was like, he's like, yeah, I went to one of the matches in Dallas. And I was like, what in the actual flying hell are you talking about? And so, it does spread, and we've been fortunate in our backyard here. We had USA and Seattle play. It's been, there is a fever pitch around this, but supply and demand, that is always going to be one of the biggest concerns in real estate. And I see agents miss this when they're pricing properties. Now, obviously, this rental market moves very quick. There's partnerships with Airbnb. So there's people, but they are going to have pricing based upon those events, right? And if you get a greater demand, whether that be economic development, employment, specific events, you're going to see prices spike. And one of the things I'm always looking at when I'm talking to agents is are you properly pricing absorption rates for the band that you're selling in? So I was just looking up some different bands. I was looking in a local market, and I looked 550 to 600, and there was 30 homes that had sold in the last 4 months, and there was 30 active homes on the market. So you were looking at about 7 sales per month. And so that market has a 4-month supply of homes, leans a little bit towards seller. I've always considered 6 months supply kind of a balanced market. Then I, just for fun, looked at, I went up from 550 to 6, and I looked at 7 to 750. 13 homes on the market. You're like, well, man, that's a lot less. But you go back and look over the last 4 months, and only 2 a month are selling. So now you're putting a home on the market 700 to 750, and you've got a 6.5 month supply of homes, almost a 7. And you're like, okay, that lends itself. That's a buyer's market. So, the buyer's going to have a lot of, they're going to have a lot of leverage in that situation, or somebody's going to be sitting for a long time. And so you have to look at your local market. Everyone's different. There might be construction projects. There might be data centers being built. There might be the World Cup coming. You got to look at events like that and say, how is this going to affect supply and demand? And then what does that look like from a pricing standpoint? And, I think the worst case scenario I saw was I saw an individual post or article about landlord had not renewed a lease so that they could do short-term rental. So they'd had a renter for like 2 years in a city, and they had given all the proper legal notice. But there's a difference between legal and what's happening. They'd given all the legal notice, so their renter that had been there for 2 years did not want to leave, but then was required to leave prior to the World Cup. And then they were doing like 1 week short-term rentals for the next like 8 weeks. But the income they were generating was almost the same as like an entire year. So, here's the situation when you're renting like that. I mean, they gave all the proper notices and it was legal, but they did severely disrupt that renter's position to take advantage. It's the difference between buying and renting, in those situations. So, I mean, I used to rent my office space and I just got tired of moving.
Yeah.
I mean, so like the same thing had happened to me to where I'm like, okay, eventually we've got to, take that part out of the equation and have a home base so we don't have to worry about that.
For sure.
And we can mess up all the walls and make a beautiful studio.
We can rip stuff out and like, what would someone even use this for when we're done? Like an accountant moves in here. What do you do with this?
We would have lost our if this was a rental, we would have lost our security
for
deposit.
real.
120%.
For real.
So the World Cup is 39 days long.
Yeah.
Goes from June 11th to July 19th.
That's more than a month.
So in theory, someone could come over here, find a house, and buy it and close, or make an offer, go through the whole process and close before the World Cup ends.
Yes, this person would also have to be independently wealthy, not have a job.
They traveled here for the World Cup.
Okay, fine. But, it wouldn't surprise me if, I'm not offering, but it wouldn't surprise me if Freddie doesn't own a house by the end of this. Like someone doesn't.
Yeah.
Someone sent a private jet to get him.
Yeah.
What?
How much are tickets?
You could theoretically close especially if it was a cash buyer. We closed one in 7 days, I think, last week.
Yeah.
So that's totally possible.
You take your New York money. Tickets. Are there like people paying like 10 grand for them?
The official ticket prices
No.
started at $120.
Okay.
But they are ranging, they can exceed $8,000 due to dynamic pricing.
Okay,
and resale
$8,000.
markets.
So you take your money you were going to spend on a game in New York, you put it towards a down payment in Dallas.
There we go.
You got yourself a 2-acre rental.
You got yourself. Here's the other.
And all the ranch dressing you want.
Here's the other thing they're not talking about. Love him to death. It makes great Instagram videos. But can you imagine if you were the property management company or the landlord that rented the Scottish guys a house? Like, there's going to need to be some cleaning.
They took it to the park after they partied in it.
They did. They did. I think they've been great. It's all fun and games until we start to work on the deposit disposition, as they call it in my business. And so, I'm sure they got a deposit. So healthy deposit.
Before we move on, I would be remiss if I did not maybe send out a message to the ranch dressing people, the pro and con ranch dressing people. So my marriage was built on ranch dressing. Our first date was at Red Robin. And Red Robin is basically a ranch store that sells burgers to dip them in.
My first day with my husband was also at Red Robin.
Yeah,
Whoa,
yeah.
look
You
at
see,
this
100%.
room going.
At least in this room, Red Robin first dates, 100% success rate. And I'm going to say that is a non-zero amount of that success is due to ranch dressing specifically. I think that anybody who does not like ranch dressing has never had a good one, because the bottle that you get, the Hidden Valley bottle, that's not the ranch dressing that these European tourists, people from all over the world, are tasting as ranch dressing is beginning to blow their mind. Because what you're tasting when you go to a restaurant, if you go to Wingstop, if you go to Red Robin, you go anywhere, what you're tasting is extra heavy mayonnaise, which is mayonnaise that has extra yolk in it. You're tasting full fat buttermilk, and you are tasting herbs and monosodium glutamate.
Yeah.
That's what you're tasting. And
This is why it's called the FIFA 15.
yeah, it's the ranch dressing is. It does not surprise me that it's blowing people's minds because there's nothing in there not to like. If you do not like ranch dressing, I think you've never had a good one. And so I'm glad they're here to experience it. But if they're taking Hidden Valley Ranch packets, or not the packets, if they're taking Hidden Valley bottles back home, they will open those bottles at home and they will be as disappointed as anybody has ever been. But you know that letdown when you're done with, you come home from a vacation and you kind of have that letdown? They're going to have a letdown like they've never had in their lives.
Yes, like you try to recreate the meal you had and it just does not.
It is not the same. It is not the same.
So they need to be taking back some powdered Hidden Valley Ranch packets.
Yeah, get that through TSA.
Which can go right into their carry-on, according to TSA. They're
perfect.
recommending.
Correct.
They're
They're
recommending.
recommending the powdered version.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I'll provide a link down in the description of this show to an Amazon link for Hidden Valley
my
Ranch
gosh.
packets you can get. There's one regular packet and then there's restaurant style. The difference between the regular packet and the restaurant style packet is MSG.
MSG.
It's the secret to everything that you
It's the
like.
secret to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I did a quick search and all I found, which would be amazing for me, I would enjoy this. I know that not everyone in the world would enjoy this as much as I would. The 6 a.m.
Is it someone got murdered?
bagpipe serenade.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in favor.
Yes.
I'm up already. I'm fine
yeah.
with it.
We would get so many neighbor calls. I'm just going to go back and say that as I love every bit of this and it is a property management nightmare.
Yeah.
Like a property management nightmare.
Yeah. You're like a dad watching the kids have fun and you're like, stop.
Yeah, I've just taken too many of the calls in my career. I
Though
think.
this is specific to me and my childhood in the way that I grew up. I can say, for anybody local listening, watching, I grew up in a government house in Richland, and everybody knows that means your house is pretty close together. Also, my dad and my brother both played bagpipes.
Oh, this is right up Lori's alley.
And-
Okay.
Having two members of my family that played bagpipes in our tiny government house next to our Richland neighbors at all hours of the day, no one ever complained.
That's awesome. Okay. See, I love it. That is not the case anymore that we deal with. But
Maybe people do like bagpipes.
I'm here for it. I think it's a great landscape for us to showcase, some amazing cities in our amazing country and have some relationships, internationally. Plus, there's been some great freaking football going on. It has been, I don't watch a lot of this outside of the World Cup, and it has been an absolute blast.
Yeah.
So, all right, we tried to get some relation to real estate. I think we did pretty good.
I think we might have saved America too.
Okay, let's end that. Let's end there then.
Before it goes wrong.